What's a situation that most people won't understand until they've been in the same situation themselves? Taking care of a parent with dementia, being disabled, Uzunai, having abusive parents, completely skews your perception of normal. To this day I'll relate something I thought was normal or funny and be met with looks of horror. Severe burnout, like full fugue state mental shutdown. Tried describing it to some folks and they just can't comprehend that level of chronic stress and exhaustion. Watching a movie or taking a day off is not going to help at that point. What it's like to be homeless, and how easily one can end up homeless, and how difficult it is to get back on your feet. So many of us are one bad turn of luck away from it, and I think about that a lot. Knowing someone who was murdered, not dead from old age or an illness or killed in an accident, but purposeful murder. It is horrific on every level. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Makes a lot of issues more personal and less generally political, especially when you add in cultural context for the country it happens in. Severe lower back pain. Death of someone close to you. Just to answer my own question, I'd say losing a loved one to suicide. Poverty. My wife and I had very different upbringings. What she considers poor and what I consider poor are completely different levels of poverty. I am glad she never had to experience that growing up, but a little more understanding on why I am set in my ways on some things would be appreciated. She has explained that for her the experiences I and my siblings had is so foreign to her that she just can't understand. Being deaf. Domestic abuse. While unfortunately common enough that there's a lot of victims to this, it's hard to explain what it's like to people who have never experienced it. It's one of those things that if it happened to you, another victim will just get it when you talk about it to them. Edit. The number of replies from people who were victims of domestic abuse is rather heartbreaking. I'm glad you guys managed to escape and heal. Depression. More specifically major depressive disorder. Many people have experienced some kind of depression in their lives, but when it lasts more than 3 weeks like 30 years it's another level that folks can't understand. No, some kind of boot camp will not fix this. Getting in a car accident. Everyone seems to think they would take time to assess the situation, react accordingly, cleverly maneuver their vehicle into a safe position and be fine. Nope. You're driving along, and then 1,000 things happen in a split second and you are in a crushed up car, and it's all over before you have a second to make your first thought. This is what scares me about drivers, bikers and pedestrians flying through traffic in pitch black winter nights, totally confident they would have all the time in the world to deal with any issues. Growing up in an abusive home environment. It's in the past. Forget about it. No, it gets imprinted on your brain. Panic attacks. My ex always thought I was just being overdramatic about how an unexpected panic attack fucked me up for days. A few years ago she called up to say she'd experienced one for herself and was so sorry that she'd not been more understanding. The strange and beautiful feeling you get when a kid who isn't yours biologically starts calling you mom dad because they've embraced the idea of you as their parent. Addiction.